bows and bow ties. So look, I am not coming on camera because I am chilling and you guys don't want to see me like this. But I wanted to talk about something that I noticed. So you guys know I've been yapping about some of the things I've seen in my feed, right? And I indulged in some of it. And what I'm noticing is that there appears, in my opinion, these are all my opinions, by the way. This is not based off of fact. This is based on my opinion, based on what I have seen. I want to make sure I make this clear. My opinion. Now, I hate having to qualify everything, and I never even completed my thought actually. I hate having to qualify everything, but I want to make it clear these are my opinions, these are not facts. This is based off of my observations of what I have seen, okay? So, one of the things I want to talk about is it appears to me that I am seeing a lot of schadenfreude, okay? This is what I'm seeing. So, I am looking at what appears to be um, single women who are taking pleasure in the misfortune of married women or women who were in relationships and those relationships have dissolved. This is what I'm seeing. And I'm like, wait a second. It is so bizarre to me because these very same women who are espousing some of this feminist type ideal stuff, and let me just tell you something before I get into the whole feminist thing. Like, I'm a faux feminist. I'm not like a real feminist. I like the best of some of the things that they're talking about, but I don't go to the extremes on anything. So if you're upset about my opinions, you are allowed to be upset, and I'm allowed to have my opinions. But what I'm going to say is some of these women who claim to be for women are not for women at all. And I don't like it. It doesn't matter that I like it or not, but I'm just stating what my thoughts are. I'm like, they're not very pro woman at all. If you're not their brand of womanhood or feminism, whatever it is, then what they do is they engage in schadenfreude. This is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing single women get on these apps and they are taking delight in watching or listening to married women like see like you're really single and married, or women who've had failed relationships, or women who were left behind with children because their partner has exited the relationship. But I just really feel like a schadenfreude. So one of the things I noticed is that many of these women are actually envious. I really believe it. I believe many of these women are envious. And it makes me think, I circle back to the whole Simone Biles situation. This woman is married to her husband, and you know what they did? They took pleasure in him creating these faux pas. Jonathan Owens, in an interview, they had a field day making videos about this icon and her relationship. Simone Biles wanted to share her relationship to the world with her now husband. And yeah, I'm sure they learned some things. I'm sure they've learned, you know what, you can't share anything in the media or to everybody. It's not for everybody. Save some of us for ourselves, right? Save a little bit of ourselves for ourselves, because people will come for your relationship. People will take shots at your relationship. They were already talking about her possible divorce. I'm so sorry for the background noise. For some reason, I just don't think we have good insulation on this particular wall, so I can hear the shower going for one of my children. Anyway, so yeah, the single women who made an outrageous amount of content on Simone Biles and her marriage, they were like, girl, look at these red flags and look at this and look at that. This is what they did. And they talked about how her relationship isn't going to last, and like the red flags, and he didn't really want her. Like, this is the really disgusting stuff that they engaged in. They tore this woman down. He doesn't want her. He wants somebody else. Look at who he dated in the past. And then when you point out the fact that, well, you know what? Maybe he saw something in her. Maybe he just loves her. And they're young and they make mistakes, right? And they're now it's like she's a pick me. Now, don't get me wrong. Were there red flags and stuff? Yeah, but instead of uplifting them and giving them tools to have a successful relationship, excuse me, I just burped and hiccuped at the same time. Instead of giving them tools to support them, to uplift them, to say, okay, well, maybe next time you don't get out here in social media and public and share too much about your marriage, right? They tore them down. They didn't give them tools. They took shots. They took shots at this woman's relationship. It was disgusting. But anyway, I'm finding that these women are they enjoy the fact that this attractive young man made a faux pas against this attractive woman who's an icon. This woman looked beautiful in her wedding pictures. She smiled. She's happy. She's having success in her career. And a lot of these women, all they have is this podcast or whatever it is. They took shots at this woman, her relationship. They broke it down based off of her skin tone and everything else. I'm like, my God. So I'm going to talk about something else that I think a lot of the single women are engaging in schadenfreude, right? I think they enjoy when people break up. I think they enjoy it. And heaven forbid if you look like some sort of preference, because I learned a lot about being called a preference and everything else, right? If you're light skinned or biracial or mixed or whatever it is, they like to break down these relationships. They say they don't, but they do. They hyper focused on when I don't know if it's Tia or Tamara, one of those twins from Sister. I don't know which one is which. One of the Mary sisters, Mallory sisters, she she divorced her husband. Now, granted, clearly this woman wants a lot of attention because she's out there on social media all the time. I usually swipe or I don't really pay attention to it because I don't care that much. But there are people who seem to want to take shots at this woman. They went in on Danny Lay. I didn't even know who the girl was, but apparently she was with B.O.W or whatever. Now, granted, she put that silly song out there, "Yellow Bone is what he wants," but is she wrong? Yellow Bone is what he wants. I mean, was it a silly song? Yes, it was. But they were excited to see another woman get dunked on, basically, by some dude of low character. And then there was the girl. I don't even know who this person. I don't even know who Joe Budden was. I guess he's like this podcast. I mean, I know who he is now, but I don't even know who this guy was. Like he was some sort of podcaster dude or something. And I guess he broke up with some girl. I don't know. And they were like, see, he's like the same dude like all other dudes. They got on the Cardi B. They laughed at well, not laugh, but like they got on what's this, the basketball guy who messed around on Nia Long. Like they enjoy seeing, see, look, these men ain't this, and seeing the breakup, right, of these relationships. I knew it wasn't gonna last. This is what you're seeing out here on all of this single women content. They are going after married women, women in relationships, women with children, and then it starts breaking down to these subgroups because if you don't have the right skin tone, or maybe you have the so-called right skin tone, I can't keep up. I'm going to show you something else. So they like to not only they celebrating like these breakups, like I said, like they'll mock all these failed relationships. So now they're sitting there joking about all this other stuff. Like you have people who are going on and on and on about all of these relationships. But anyway, so like this is the other thing. So they start gloating, like when they see people get rejected or something like that. Especially don't get me started on when they get to watch us. I guess what do they call it? Exoticals? That's what they're calling light skinned women and women who are of mixed race or whatever. So now they enjoy watching these women get rejected, right? I just remember, well, she's not an exotical, but I think about like how the whole, like, see, like they say like men ain't this, but I think they're enjoying, like they gloat about look, he'll did this to this one, he'll did this to that. Look at, like they love to go in on Claudia Jordan. Now, don't get me wrong, she's no saint. Let's be clear. Okay, none of these women are saints, but like they like to gloat about stuff. Like, look, see, he ain't this. Um, I think they like watching famous people fall. I think they I think they spend a lot of time downplaying relationships, downplaying marriages. They spend a lot of time talking about how married women are really in single relationships and all sort of stuff, and some of it is true, but they sit there and they attack and go after people's relationships. It's so weird. They put out a lot of content about other women, and then there's no grace. If you do not subscribe to their brand of womanhood or feminism, there's no grace. These women continue to come after other women. Like I said, they are envious of modern day romance. They celebrate breakups and they're mocking relationships. They're gloating when you're rejected. They're downplaying your relationship. They love talking about like women who are married are unhappy. I'm like, women who are unmarried are unhappy too. And it's like, if you don't understand data science and read into all of it, they'll sit there and say things like most married women are unhappy. I forgot what the stat is, but they like to quote that a lot. They're like, single women are happier. Well, when you don't have to be in a covenant and you can get in and out of things, I'm just sitting here thinking like, women go through ups and downs. Married women, single women. I am not convinced that single women are that much happier than married women. I think they're equally happy and equally unhappy. Once again, let me put that back up. These are just my opinions. Just my opinions. All right. But I think that what happens is they they like to play this whole everybody's. I'm sitting there thinking, like, if you are a woman who's 40 years old, 45, 50, you are going to experience ups and downs. Ups and downs. It's just that the landscape looks different if you're married. Single women and married women, they still have to deal with physiological changes. You've got womanhood changes. You've got motherhood changes. Got all kinds of changes. But for some reason, they like to focus on married women, almost as if to say, well, we're just as good or we're better or we're not better. I don't know. I'm like, they're so hyper focused on a group of women who are in a really a smaller category, because they say 70% of women who look like me are not even married, or they don't get married or something like that, right? Isn't it 70%? I'm not exactly sure what the number is. So if that's the case, why are you so hyper focused on married women? Explain that to me. Why are you hyper focused on married women? And then I think the biggest thing right now with the whole single woman engaging in schadenfreude, I think that they like to spread rumors. They want to see turmoil. I think it's satanic, if you ask me. I've experienced this where people will spread rumors about you and give you backhanded compliments. I've experienced that. I most certainly have. In recent times, it was a few years ago, there was a woman that I had to cut off. She was making up the most ridiculous and heinous lies. She was making up lies like I could not believe. And I had to call her, I had to hold her feet to the fire. And people kept telling me, men and women, over and over and over, she's not your friend. And she talks about you, she mixes stuff up and blah, blah, blah. And I finally called her out. And then she tried to do the fake tears. And I knew she wasn't my friend because it wasn't like she tried to repair the relationship. She did everything she could to cause turmoil. It was disgusting. Giving backhanded compliments and stuff like that. Just miserable. Miserable. But anyway, getting back to that, I'm looking at like what comes on in my feed, and I think my ADD might be starting to kick in, right? Even though I'm not diagnosed as ADD, but some of the stuff gets boring after a while. But I gave it a fair shake, and I was listening to many of these women, and I'm not saying they're all wrong, but some of what they're saying is just so full of vitriol, and people think just because they're not young that it's not vitriolic. I'm just kind of like, these women are turning into some psycho, whacked out weirdos like some of these men. I said what I said, and people can be mad, and it's okay. I'm okay with that. What I will say is this: I think that what am I doing? What? I'm sorry, I'm looking at something on my phone. Something came through. I just think that these women are out here engaging in this ridiculousness. They're being mean. You can say what you mean and mean what you say without being mean. I am looking at this content. They talk so bad about everybody, which lets me know they don't have real joy. When you want people to understand that your position in life is just good too, you're gonna talk about that versus tearing down somebody else's position or tearing down another person or tearing down somebody else's relationship. All of what they claim to be happy about is actually centered around somebody else. And I think what happens is because they are not in that place, they take pleasure in somebody else's demise. See, I told you she wasn't this or that and the other, or he wasn't this. It's disgusting. So, anyway, these are just my both thoughts. I believe that people, the single women thing, and what I'm seeing online, it's out of control. And this is the thing. I was like rooting for single women, right? Because I feel like, honestly, single women right now are doing their thing. They're smart. They're beautiful. They have great ideas. Like, I feel like, why can't we support these women? But what I am learning is that single women don't support married women. They absolutely do not. Here I am thinking like we need to support women in general, and actually I'm finding that there's a lot of separation. They don't care about us. They don't care. They're literally out there preaching for people to stay away from men, don't have kids, don't do this. Instead of saying, hey, find the right person to have a baby by, should you choose to have one. They're really trying to just, I don't know what's going on, isolate themselves. I've never seen a bunch of people online who are so angry. They'll say they're not, but their content shows otherwise. They are hyper focused on men and bad relationships. Why would you want all of your content to be about the same that? Why would you want that? Why do you want to hang your head on that? Other than the fact that it's easy to make a bag off of it. That's what you want to hang your head on? Your hat on? Anyway, all right. That's all I got. I didn't even put my good background on. Where's my background? I took my background off. Let me put my background back on. There we go. Anyway, all right. So look, This is a really good opportunity for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and let the algorithm know that you think I'm amazing in every way and can do no wrong. Even more, just as important, is to really actually leave a comment. Leave a comment. Let me know what you're really thinking. I've been wrong before. I could be wrong again, but these are our opinions. So can an opinion be wrong? I don't know. But this is what I'm noticing. I'm noticing these crazy behaviors out here on this app. I'm noticing that women want to check other women so much. There's healthy discourse, and then there's mean. And then they'll get mad at women when things fall apart. Oh, now you want to come back to us? Well, you know what? You wanted to be with this guy. You stay over there. Like, I've heard this type of crazy rhetoric. I'm like, oh my, oh my. I'm like, who hurt you? But anyway, I'm getting tired. I need to um, get ready to go to bed soon. But let me know your both thoughts. Take care.